Kawashiki is literally just around the corner for most of you, and now you have the balance patch for you guys to play with before Kawashiki actually arrives. This balance patch is very interesting and very extensive, so we have quite a bit to get through, but in this video I will be highlighting what I feel is worth mentioning. And by the way, I just want to kick this video off by saying that CC2 is actually listening, and they might actually make me one of their favorite ninjas. So if you recall, I actually said in this video this statement about Ino. Weird. So I've also written, Ino Yamanaka could have a buff, maybe add poison damage back into her moveset by adding poison damage to either her Flower Bomb or Flower Bomb Scatter. This would be amazing. Please and thank you, Poison Akami. If they actually do this, oh my god, I'd be so happy. Please. Please. Like, I know Ino has a poison tag as her item set, but like from her generic moveset, she no longer has poison. She used to have poison on her poison flowers, which was her chakra kunai in older Storm games, but since they've taken away chakra kunai and replaced it with ninjutsu 2, Ino no longer deals poison without items anymore, so it would be nice to see her do that, so I feel like this would be a nice little buff to Ino. In that video, I was basically reading out what I have written in the survey when they asked us to do the survey for an upcoming balance patch, this current balance patch. And basically I said something along the lines of, I would like Ino to have poison in her moveset again. This could be done by basically introducing poison in either one of her jutsus. And this is exactly what happens. Ino actually has poison in both of her jutsus, in her Flower Bomb and Flower Bomb Scatter. She has poison in both. Not only that, but they also decided to do one extra. They actually added a Crumpling Stun on her IC4, and her IC2 now has extended Stagger Stun, so you can do infinites now on her second hit and her fourth hit of her combo. This is the best buff that Ino has ever seen in her life. Honestly, I'm eternally grateful for CC2 for buffing Ino like this. It is absolutely amazing. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the poison damage is kind of short, so it can be seen as a little underwhelming, but I did do a stat check. This is an overall net buff for the damage of the jutsu, but only by a small margin. Honestly, if I was able to tell them if, you know, any feedback, I'd say to make the poison just a little bit longer by maybe like 1 more second or 2 more seconds, so it actually looks more of a difference. But I mean, I appreciate CC2 actually acknowledging my request and making it come true. Alright, now let's continue with the other changes of this balance patch. So it does mention disconnection penalties, but I'm going to make a whole other video about that, so be sure to stay tuned. That will most likely come out the day after this video. Overall battle adjustments: Shuriken. Shuriken remove the possibility of performing follow-up attacks on downed opponents. However, only a few characters will still be able to perform follow-up attacks on downed opponents. So this means that kunais can no longer restand opponents. Now, according to this, some characters can still do it. I'm not entirely sure who that is because I haven't gone through and checked, but I'm sure we can find that very soon. This basically means the same for the kunai rain and the burst kunai ninja tools, so they can no longer pick up downed opponents anymore. Now, with the character buffs and nerfs, I'm only going to read out the ones that I feel are more significant changes, so you will be seeing me miss out a good few characters. If you do want to read the buffs and nerfs for yourself, there is a link in the pinned comment in the comment section of this video. I will drop a link in that comment where you guys can click on it and check out all the changes there. Chroma link with Naruto. Increased the defense, but his Tail Beast Bomb Ninjutsu 2 has reduced the amount of chakra needed to use, made the recovery speed slower when using it as support, and increases damage. Shikamaru Nara Explosive Parachute made the recovery speed slower when using it as support, so this means that now his parachute jutsu that people spam as a support is gonna take longer to come back, so we will see how this does in the overall meta and to see if it is a significant nerf. If not, he might need a longer cooldown. Another shocking one here, Kiba Inuzuka got the biggest nerf out of everybody in this balance patch. Ninjutsu 1 Fang over Fang has now reduced damage, Ninjutsu 2 Tunneling Fang has reduced damage, and they have reduced the damage of his ground level combos and his aerial combos. Kiba is now one of the weakest combo dealers in the entire game. Not only that, but his jutsus are also really weak. This combined with the chakra consumption nerfs that he had from the previous patch, Kiba is now pretty much almost unviable. I mean, compared to the other characters, he's still decent and he's still annoying to have on the field, but in general, he is now a lot weaker than what he was on release. It's kind of sad. Next are the characters that have had their air combos buffed. Now, these are buffs meaning that they are no longer able to not pick up their opponents from combos, so they can now convert from air combo to ground combo. These characters are Shisui, Kisame, and Delta. I believe one of the Hashiramas is also included. The reanimated Hashirama is also included in this. So basically they now have bouncing stuns at the end of their air combos, so you can actually convert. I believe this was implemented due to the shurikens pickups not being a thing anymore. So now that you can no longer pick up with shuriken and kunai, they've decided to give these characters a way to continue off of their air combos, making them stronger. Moreover though, for Shisui, he's got some really nice buffs. Now despite the nerf of his reduced defense, in turn he has his ninjutsu 2 Hero style dance. It has increased the chakra needed to activate it, but here's the kicker. The damage of throws has been changed, but the opponent can now bounce after having the throw done. So when you grab people with Shisui, they now bounce off the floor, meaning you can follow up with literally anything. You can follow up with any of his jutsu or an air combo. Another significant one here is Jugo. So he has his defense reduced, however the damage of everything else has been increased. So Living Wall Fist Style 1, increase the damage. Increase the damage of his aerial combos. It has also increased the damage of his ground level combos too. And also increased the duration of stuns on his ground combos too. Now I didn't actually know this was a thing, but they actually increased the guard stun of his combos as well. So basically people cannot ninja move in the middle of his combos. I actually didn't know this was a weakness of Jugo. Now Yagura's Rising Core Ripples has made it possible to perform a ninjutsu block, so I think what this means is that it can clash versus other ninjutsus. I don't think it did before. I haven't actually had a way to test this, but Yagura now has more infinite possibilities in his combo, so he has more stun on his combos. Now it says adjusted the flying distance of the enemies when thrown, so what it means is that it's actually shortened the air time of the enemy when he's hit by his grab. This is basically stop people from chaining the grab over and over again, but if you equip the speed pill, Yagura can actually still do it, I heard. Roshi, they actually made the speed of his chakra dash faster. I'm not actually sure why they gave him this change to Roshi, but I've actually compared it to some of the other chakra dashes as you can see here, and there is a significant difference. Roshi's chakra dash is actually faster than what it used to be. Hanzo, Ninjutsu 2 Ibusei. Ibusei's summoning time is now slower and made the dash cancelling timing slower and increased the opening created after the attack. So this basically makes Hanzo a little bit more unsafe if he whiffs Ibusei. So PTS Sasuke, Phoenix Flower Jutsu now has reduced damage on that jutsu, so I think they're noticing that people are using it quite a lot, so they decided to reduce the damage to see how people are still going to play. Now, there is actually a typo here. It says Sasuke Part 1 Phoenix Flower Jutsu. What it meant is that it's the Fireball Jutsu, not the Phoenix Flower Jutsu, and they've actually reduced the amount of chakra that you need to activate the Fireball, and they've increased the damage and made recovery speed faster when using it as support, so Sasuke's Fireball has now been a nice little buff there. An interesting one is that PTS Ino now has increased defense overall, so it's going to be harder to kill her, and her Ninjutsu 1 Cherry Blossom Dance has made it possible to perform ninjutsu blocks and has changed the final effect. After successfully landing the third hit, it now creates a bounce. You can actually now follow up with this with a dash to continue into your air combo for extra damage. And they've increased the duration of the stunning effect on the opponent after successfully landing ground level combos, meaning that now Ino has more opportunity for infinites than she did before. On the other hand though, PTS Shino does have some nerfs, so they've decreased his overall defense. Gyro Lump Insect has now got decreased damage, and Ground Scamper Insects also has decreased damage and has increased the chakra consumption, and also has recovery speed slowed down when using it as support. These are some heavy nerfs for Shino. PTS Gara also has some nerfs, decrease the damage on his ground level combos and his air combos, so it's not looking good for PTS Gara as well. Now Zabuza Momochi, the Ninjutsu 1 Landbreaker has increased damage, and his Water Style Water Dragon Jutsu also has increased damage and reduced the opening created after the attack, meaning that he now resets back to neutral really fast after doing the Water Dragon. So they've made Zabuza a stronger hitter with his jutsus and made him more safe after Water Dragon. Haku's ground combos are now faster. They've increased the duration of the stunning effect after some attacks, so this means that now the animations are faster. It now is a little faster to actually cancel his hits, because he's always felt slow and sluggish and long to cancel. Now Haku feels nice and fast, and now he has more infinite potential, so this is a nice buff that Haku's been needing for a very long time. And lastly, Boro's Virus Dispersion has now got a slower recovery speed on its support gauge, so also, as you can see here, it's going to take quite a long time to come back. So those of you that like using Boro as support only, he may not seem as viable. He is now getting the same treatment as what Hagoromo did. And that seems to be everything for the balance patch now. It seems to be a lot of buffs, a lot of nerfs, a lot of significant changes, and they have seemed to have really taken a look at Ino for me, which I always appreciate. Sadly, on the other hand, my boy Shino has received some nasty nerfs in his PTS form, and so has Kiba. Kiba has also received some nerfs. So I'm not gonna lie, even though I have gained and won some with Ino's buffs, I did lose some with the dramatic Kiba nerfs that has appeared, and the really nasty Shino nerfs as well. But also some other players have been infected with this, with the Temari nerfs. So Temari has also been nerfed, the Shikamaru nerfs, the Hanzo nerfs as well. So we'll have to see if these characters still feel like they hit the same. If they do, I think CC2 will probably nerf them further, just so that the meta has more, you know, viability in it, more of a variety in it. But anyways, that'll be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Got more content coming out very soon about Kawashiki and this general balance patch, and I will be streaming a lot more now as well, so be sure to stay tuned for that. As always, it's been your boy Poison Nakami. Janet.